What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back again with another live stream today. I didn't notice my layoff that I had. Was looking at my YouTube, my last uploaded video to last night, and it was like 6 days or something. I'm like, man, it's been that long. Doesn't feel like it's been that long, but if you can hear it in my voice, still getting over like some sinus stuff or whatever it is. Took the test. I'm negative for all of everything else or whatever. So it's a sinus. So don't we good over here. But yeah, man, it's time to get back into these sports because last night, like I told you, I'm sitting. I have my TV's on. I got my phone playing something, and I got my computer on. So I got 3-4 screens going, and I had the Hawks game on mute. So I had it on mute, and I was looking, and I'm like, okay, this game looked like it's pretty much over. Like it's not gonna be much. They're up by 26 in the fourth, and I was like, okay, it's over, right? No, it was not over. With about 3 minutes left, I look over and I say, dude, it is a 10-point game over here. What's going on? And dude, Trae Young went to work on those boys, man. And I saw this morning, I didn't know Embiid and Seth Curry were the only players that hit shots in the entire fourth quarter. The second half. The entire second half. No other player hit a shot. I don't know if I can blame this on Doc Rivers, man. I don't know. We talked about it. I don't know if I can put that on Doc Rivers. Guys just missing shots.
It looks similar to that Clipper choke. I tell you that.
Yeah. It looks eerily similar. It does.
Yeah, it does. Nobody got a clue. They got that deer look on the sideline, man. But you know what, man? That was a pretty bad deal to blow a 26 point lead. I'm like Charles Barkley, man. He said something. He said he asked Shaq could he get his private plane so he can go to Philly in the morning and hear what's on the talk radio there.
No, I didn't hear that, man. I would love, man. Somebody say I would love to be a fly on the plane when the Phillies going to Atlanta. They love to be on that plane on their way to Atlanta because you already know it's got to be ugly in there.
But MB didn't look too happy there in that fourth quarter, man. So
no.
I don't know what's going on with the 76ers, but Doc promised that they could push it to a game 7 and go back to Philly, but hey, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know because you got to know that they smell blood in the water. I mean, Trae Young, and it's funny about Trae Young is that he's somewhat playing for Atlanta. You would think I would see more of him because he's in the South, but I just don't see Atlanta games. And I'm not looking for Atlanta games because they haven't been good. But now Trae Young is putting Atlanta basketball back squarely on the map, man. That kid out there with that number 11 with that wispy hair giving dudes buckets, man, and it's crazy. And when I see lists of top players under 25, I never see Trae Young's name. And that changes after this postseason. Win or lose, that changes.
But you know what, man? Here's the Atlanta Hawks team in the second round of the playoff. They didn't have anybody on their roster to make all NBA defensive team. They ain't got nobody in the top whatever for MVP. And man, they got Solomon Hill. I thought never would I thought that Solomon Hill could go on any team and be on one that's winning in the playoffs.
Right.
But man, you know what? I like the way I really like the way they shoot the basketball, obviously. And it just seemed like they got a chemistry going on. And it just seemed like a team that doesn't have anything to lose. They just go out and nobody in the country has nobody picked them to beat Philly. And it just seems like they're just playing with under no pressure. And they're going back to Atlanta. I mean, that arena gonna be electric. And I wouldn't be shocked if I'd join the Hawk bandwagon. I wouldn't be shocked if they pull it out, man, because they can't stop Trae. I mean, they can't.
You can't. They have nothing for him. You can't stop him.
And then I just seen Ben. I see all the flaws in the 76ers. You got a point guard / whatever Ben Simmons is. He can't make free throws and he can't make jump shots. It look like the ball stick a lot. If Embiid is not on, then they're in trouble. Like every night, And it's like you can't expect to get that type of performance from Curry each game. But I don't know, man. It just seemed like they got this assembly. They got the talent, but it just seems like, and I think I said this earlier. You never know what you're going to get from night to night. They could be dominating the game, and then they can't close. It's similar to the Clippers. You just never know what are you going to get from game to game. But when you watch the Hawks, I know what Trae Young gonna give me.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting from him.
I know what their role players gonna do. I know they're gonna shoot the ball great from the perimeter. I know they can get down and get back and defend. I mean they can stay in front of shooters, which they did the other night. And I didn't agree with them with all the double teams on Embiid. They kind of went away from what won the game that previous game. But he made some adjustments, and it just got this under no pressure, and they just feel like they're not playing on the edge, and they just playing well right now. And I think they got some good pieces, man. I think they got a team that kind of just came through at the right time. Kind of looked like they just kind of got that continuity together as the season progressed. And they added pieces as they went along, and man, Philly got their work cut out, man, trying to win 2 games against this team, man.
Yeah, they do. Atlanta seems to have the eye of the tiger in them, man.
Mm-hmm.
They are, man, very aggressive. Philly seems to kind of be resting on their laurels. Tobias Harris owes the city of Philadelphia. Like he owes Pennsylvania. Like for him to have a performance like that in the second half, Ben Simmons not being able to shoot, it's been a running joke since he was at LSU. Like we know that already, so that's nothing new. But Tobias laying a eagle-sized egg is ridiculous. I expect Tobias Harris to be much better than he was. And I think that was the difference in the game. If Tobias just gives them 10 points, maybe 10 points, they win that game. That's all they needed. 10 points. And he gave you 0.
But another thing about Philly, man, they get the ideal switches. Like they get perfect matchups when they can force switches on defense. And then you just see the most. Just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Even Embiid. I saw in that game a couple times where they got switched and Young was on Embiid and this guy taking a jump shot. What are you taking a jump shot for?
Yes.
Come on, man, take the ball to the basket. It's like,
yes.
That just amazes me. And like it's like that the switch doesn't cut on. And all you got to do is attack the basket. They're a bigger team, and then just look like when they get in reverses, and it's just like it's like they're not running the offense. It's just like they just freelance.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, man.
But I also seen that with Doc teams and with the Clippers too, though. So it might be a Doc thing on that one.
Could be because last night Paul George played point forward. And he looked mighty comfortable at the point guard position, being a primary ball handler, which he could do that. Paul George is, outside of say a LeBron, as far as him being a small forward with passing ability, a great defender, he's a decent shooter. He's immensely talented, always has been. He just catches the jokes, because in the playoffs he shrinks. We never questioned Paul George's talent. It's just his ability to perform under pressure has been questioned for a long time. And last night he answered the bell.
Yeah, what he got to do. Like I don't know how he's gonna come out in this next game, but you can preach and preach, man. The guy. Sometimes I think he doesn't realize how much talent he has. It's like,
Yeah.
it just seems like he takes jump shots and if he's on, he's on. But if he's off, you don't see him attacking the basket if he done missed 3 shots from the perimeter with a
Right.
smaller defender on him. And man, I tell you what though, I can't say nothing bad about him last night because boy, he was on. He said going into that game that we can't lose it, and they didn't have Kawhi, and
Mm-hmm.
man, they really. I'm
Yeah.
starting to think that Lou is a pretty good coach, man, because I think that he looked like he knows what button.
Uh-oh. I don't know. I think we may have lost him. See, is he back? No, I don't think he's back. And he was in the middle of a great point. Look, I'm gonna keep it going until I get him back. There he goes. There he is. Okay, he was in the middle of a great point. Go ahead. Talking about Paul George, which with Paul George, him at 31, he's got to work on that post game. That's what's going to help him age gracefully. Yeah, you can hit threes all day, but you don't have to shoot threes like Steph Curry. Just shoot them enough to where guys don't back off of you at the 3-point line. But the post game is where he needs to go because, dude, if I got a smaller defender on me, dude, he doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket. Take him to the hoop. LeBron has mastered that. That's how LeBron has been able to transition his game over the years. That's Miami. When he went to Miami, they put a premium on him learning to play the post.
Mm-hmm. He's one of the few superstars, as we said earlier, that has all this tremendous talent. And it just seems like there are some games where either he can't get, like, it just looks like he forces himself out of rhythm.
Yeah.
Either he's trying to do too much, not doing enough, or is there something that is just like he's just overcompensating when he doesn't have to overcompensate? And as we said earlier, I don't know if the if him and Kawhi Leonard, like, do they blend together? Like, do they really maximize each other's talent? It don't seem like they do at times.
Yeah.
You know, if you can see this game last night, and you can just see that he didn't have to wait to take his turn to take a shot, or it just seems like sometimes like George just looks for the moment to take charge, or no, I'm a defer, or I'm a let him get hot, and then I'm gonna get going. And when you in these playoffs, man, it doesn't matter who got the hot hand. Just get the ball. You got to move the ball. You got to get back on defense, and the offense is going to dictate where your shots are coming from. And I think a lot of times with the Clippers, it's just like this. Oh, I got the hot potato in my hand. I gotta, it's like, I gotta see them take open shots and just, man, take the shot or drive to the back, and he'll pass it to Kawhi or he'll pass it to somebody, and it's like, and then there's other games where he just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 for 6, and he's still shooting from 30 feet away. It's like, come on, man. He's a superstar, and I just think that he's a superstar who doesn't trust his talent, and that's a lot of superstars ain't like that.
No, I think he does. I think he shrinks himself.
Yeah.
He does shrink himself because, like, for all the jokes, Paul George is immensely talented, man. We're talking about one of the most talented basketball players in the entire league. Like, he may not be a top 10 player, but as far as physical talent, traits, and all-around game, he has a top 10 type of game. He just shrinks from time to time. Like, and I don't know what you can do to get over that, especially as an athlete. I mean, I don't know, because, yeah.
But I see the same thing sometimes from Anthony Davis. I don't know if it's just having this so much regard and respect for the superstar that you playing alongside. But I got like Chris Paul. One thing I like about Chris Paul, it doesn't matter who he plays with, what team,
Yeah.
or he's always going to give you the same style every game, what team. If he's in Houston, he's going to dictate the flow of the pace. He's going to facilitate, and if he's got an open shot on the elbow, he's going to take it. But when you
Yeah.
got a guy like Paul George, and a lot of times Anthony Davis too is like, man, it's like, oh, I can't do too much because I'm gonna offend LeBron for taking shots or something. It's like you got to ask permission to score. What did they bring him there for? They brought him
Yeah.
in to be who he is, and it's like you don't have to think about what your style of play is. You just go in and do what got you there. When he was with the
Mhm.
Pelicans, he didn't have to ask permission to. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the ball to the basket, and it just seemed like Paul George is the same way, man. Play the way you played at Indiana, just flow and free and play. It's like they be thinking like, oh, I can't take this too many shots. Kawhi might
Yeah.
get mad,
Yeah.
and that's not going to win a championship. I say that about Kevin Durant. I mean, he doesn't ask permission to take a shot.
You just take it. Yeah. So, question is, who you got closing out these series? So it's 3-2 Clippers, 3-2 Atlanta. I got Atlanta closing Philly out in 6. I don't think Philly gets another one. I think Trae Young comes out hair on fire, wispy and all, and he brings them home. And probably what they're going to try to do in Game 6 is turn him into a facilitator, and he'll just have 14 assists like he did against the Knicks. So I think that he's going to close them out. Now the Clippers in Utah. Man, I think it's going to go 7. I see 7 games, and it's going to depend on if Kawhi plays. If Kawhi plays, I would give the Clippers the edge in Game 7. Kawhi doesn't play, it's Utah.
Yeah,
Utah in Game 7.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I even go back to the Denver series, man. You can't patch up a hole if your star guy ain't there, man. It's hard to patch that hole up, man.
Yeah,
And Denver couldn't do it, and I really don't think that the Clippers can do it, man. I just think
yeah,
that if they don't get Leonard back, I just don't see them closing out that team. And I agree with you. Every word you said about Atlanta, I feel Atlanta coming in, they playing on their home court. They done took the 76ers best shot. And I think Doc and that Philadelphia team is the one scratching their head like, man, we can't figure these guys out. We can't stop the point
nope,
guard. We can't hold a lead. We got guys that played so well in the playoffs, and then now we can't get the same type of effort for the whole 48 minutes. And I just think that the pressure has mounted, and they can't come up with any answers, man. I mean, it's like
yeah,
this Atlanta team, boy. I tell you what, man. I never would think that they would be at this point of eliminating these guys and getting to the conference finals. The Atlanta Hawks, man.
the Atlanta Hawks conference final. They don't even sound right. This doesn't even sound right, man. It doesn't even sound right.
Week done made a return or something like that for the Hawk team to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, boy. That's something. But they playing a lot better than they did Philadelphia right now, so they deserve it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think tonight, what is it? Milwaukee and Brooklyn, which KD had a ridiculous game in game 5, man. At what 49, 15, and 17, something crazy. Like that was crazy. So yeah,
if he would have hit that free throw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not
So,
a
yeah.
Milwaukee guy. I just feel that maybe it's time for them to like really get some soul searching and just maybe
Keep booting hoes out.
yeah, just get a new coach
Mm.
and just come up with another scheme here because they got all the talent in the world, man. But
Thank you, Julia. Appreciate you for watching.
oh yeah, but I don't see it. I mean, I just think they're going through the motions, man. I really do. You
Yeah.
got James Harden coming back. They look like they had this team by the throat, and they took their hands off their neck.
Yeah.
And they just can't they can't play the way in the playoffs that they play in the regular season. I saw Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, one of the greatest on-ball defenders in the league. But, there were some shots he took that didn't – I questioned. He shot an air ball, I think, in that final minute. And
yeah, he did.
It's just that it's just when you have to make a play, I don't see the Bucks making that play. I just, I don't. I mean, Giannis. I mean, I could see some situations where he doesn't get the ball or he forces shots. Or he misses a free throw. So
one thing they have to stop doing, and I don't know if it just doesn't look good when he does it, is giving him the ball at the top of the key, telling everybody to move out the way and letting him make a play. It looks so awkward, man. It just he had one against, I think it was in game 4, and he had Blake Griffin ahead of him, in front of him, and he trying to cross him up. He took him to the hole, and Blake Griffin blocked him. And I'm like, yo, Blake Griffin can't jump over a phone book right now. He's not the same Blake Griffin no more. He's not jumping over cars anymore, and you couldn't out jump him at the rim. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. It just, when it comes crunch time or it just playoff time, it just seems like if you watch them in the regular season, scoring is always easy in the regular season. It just seems like when the game get down, playoff basketball is different than the regular
physical
basketball. Is more physical. You got to get inside and things. And it just seems like these guys are holding their necks like, oh, they choking. That's like they don't know what to do. They can't execute. And you hear the same story all the time, man. They thought Drew Holiday come in, and I don't know. It's just it's anybody's series, but they didn't have nobody to stop Durant. And he scored 49. What make you think he won't score that again?
Yeah, because he's going to get his, man. And that's a good segue into this topic. We're talking about the injuries going on, especially injuries in NBA playoffs. I saw a stat where this is the most NBA All-Stars that have been injured in the postseason in NBA history. So I mean, it's obvious. We saw it in the regular season, so this isn't shocking to me what's going on, because we're towards the end of the season. Miles are on the body, and the body tends to break down over time. That's human nature. That's what we do. So now, of course, LeBron came out, said that he told him this was going to happen, blah blah blah. Which we kind of knew. They started back too soon. You didn't have enough rest, but also, we talked about it. The same thing happened in the NFL, where you had so many top star players go down with injuries. I've never seen that in the NFL or the NBA before, but it's because of the pandemic, and these leagues they gotta make money. If you want to operate and you want to keep the organization going, you have to make money. They took a gamble, and for the most part, I would say they kind of coming out even on it. I mean, they're coming out about even because, you lost some star players due to injury, so the quality of the game may have dropped a little bit, especially in the NBA with the amount of injuries that they've had. But they've still been great games, but it's the names on the jerseys that people come to see. But you were able to keep it going, and you're able to make your money and keep your organizations on track by making your money. But your player is the most important resource, because without them, nothing moves. And I'm pretty sure going forward, NFLPA, NBAPA, you got to protect the players, man. From this point on, you have to protect the players first and foremost.
Well, that's what we discussed this earlier today, man. I just feel that, I can understand what LeBron is saying, but I also understand that the Players Association has the power in the negotiations to force them to start that. For just talking about this season, they had the power in their hand to say, let's start after Christmas, let's start in January. And the roadblock is this. none of the NBA players wanted to take any pay cut. They didn't, if you play less games, then you get a lower percentage of the revenue split with the owners. And, in order to get that money equal out for what they've been receiving, then you got to play that. What did they play? 70? What was
70?
it?
I think it's 72 games.
72 games.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to, I guess you can see it on both sides. They didn't want to go into August playing the playoffs, and they didn't want to take a drastic percentage cut of the take. And I'll say this from experience, man. The NBA, as far as the Players Association, they got probably the most powerful Players Association out of all the professional sports, because they have the power to force the owners to listen. Unlike Major League Baseball, or because it's a game of superstars, and whatever LeBron says, whether the owners like it or not, it carries much more weight than any owner in that league says. And when LeBron speaks, the fans listen, and it jeopardizes their bottom line if it's something negative. But I've always said this, man. I think that from when the season started at the end of October through Christmas, I don't think that the interest in the country is where it should be at, because it's overshadowed by football. Yeah. And I've always said that, man, it would be so much better for the NBA to start their season on Christmas Day, because, man, it's hard playing back to back and trying to squeeze in 82 games or whatever. I understand that, but if they could get far more attention, higher ratings, I think, and they'll draw much more interest between January and after the All-Star break than what they ever going to get from October through December. But the salaries are so high, man. They don't make up the revenue through the tickets. They make it through the television deals. And if nationally, I don't even think the NBA come on ABC until Christmas Day. I don't think they even televise national. I mean, they are on ESPN and TNT, but I don't think even ABC get into televising the Sunday afternoon or Saturday games until after December. And I just think, I think the NBA is one league that, and I would never tell a guy that don't go out and earn as much as you can. But come on, man, the NBA is playing with monopoly money. I can remember back when Anthony Davis had an opportunity to sign like this 5-year, 220, I think with $220 million contract. And I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, 226, I think it was.
Like 226. And it's almost like, man, can you believe that? I mean, they're making $36 million a year. I mean, it's like the best quarterback in the NFL is not pulling. He's like lucky to get 20 something as a quarterback, but it's just. Exactly. I just think the game got to come to a point where reality, and you don't kill your business, And I think it's almost getting, because their ratings are down. Obviously, they were down in the bubble, and you're looking at a 36-year-old LeBron. I think the NBA is always going to have talent. They got young talent coming in, but it's just like, I just think the salaries are so escalating that they have to play 82 games just for the franchise to make it, all of them. And it's just like, they came back too soon. Even you said that, Brandon. They did. They came back too early, man. You play in a bubble, you come back, you play in your finals in late October. You got training camp starting like in November, and the season is there.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I just think they got to maybe they got to go back to the drawing board and see, just like they tinkering with the All-Star game. Maybe they need to tinker with the starting the season
Mhm.
on Christmas and just playing less games and maybe cut those salaries down a little bit. Even though I guess the NBA players don't want to hear that, but hey, it might be reality coming off a pandemic and they haven't got the crowds back as they were, obviously before the pandemic. So, just something to keep in
Well,
mind.
another element to that. Oh, I'm getting this feedback. Okay, there you go. Another element to that is you have to know that you see, hold up. Let's see. This is how they stay in control. Yeah, that is how they stay in control. But one thing about it is that besides because the ratings have been dropping, I think for NBA, NFL, I think sports in general,
Yeah.
because they've been fighting sports. Period, have been fighting the in-home experience for the last decade because
Mm-hmm.
they've been trying to make it the game experience better than the in-home experience. And you can't beat my in-home experience watching the game. You just can't. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. I don't have to fight traffic. I don't have to buy $17 hot dogs. I don't have to deal with some 300-pound goofball whose team is the opposing team and he acting stupid and want to get into a tussle or something. Like I don't have to deal with those type of things. But also the virtue signaling and the social justice warrior and all of this, it's on us and the putting Black Lives Matter on the court and on the field and people get mad when they say keep politics out of sports. And of course, shut up and dribble was a big rallying cry for a lot of the players. And I understand that, don't tell them to shut up and dribble. But when it comes to politics, those who spend majority of the money don't want to see politics in sports. So you have a decision to make. So you could say, oh, we don't need your money. But if the majority who spend money stop spending money, you have no league. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Because and that's like with and obviously your opinion on this. That's like the ladies, whether it's the WNBA, the U.S. Women's National Team, or any of the ones that want to fight for more money. How can I, the regular person in this country, making regular money, care about you making more money than you're making when you're making money that I will probably never see in my lifetime? You're not going to get me to care about that. It's a pandemic. You got people without jobs. I can't feed my children, and you talking about you want to make what the men are making. I did the average person not going to hear that. So that's that stuff like that. If they don't get a hold of that, sports can go through a dark time in the next decade or so.
And you're right. And another thing to add to that, no matter what it is, you don't want to outprice your audience.
Oh,
I think that's so. I mean, a couple of weeks ago during the season, I just looked to see. Well, let's see what the Orlando Magic ticket prices is. They like the worst team in the league, and they were playing like Sacramento. And I was just curious to see how much was those ticket prices. And Upper Bowl, yeah, they were cheap. I think you could have got a ticket on one of those like the selling
StubHub or something
sub
like that.
I think it was like $15. But then I looked on the end zone lower bowl. They wanted $155 for two teams combined with like 20 wins. I mean, come on, man. I mean, who's gonna pay that kind of money for the season that you have? And I always thought, I remember in New Orleans used to have like this pricing plan where they would play if they were playing like a parental, like if they were playing the Lakers, the tickets would be higher. But if they were playing like like Sacramento, I don't know why I'm saying Sacramento, but any bad team, the ticket price would be lower for the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think they got to come to this point now where the food prices are higher, everything is higher now, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they got to come to a point where they're going to have to come. They're going to have to come back down to reality, just like everything else.
Yeah.
And you don't want to overprice your market, because you know who want to see a game on television where there's no fans in there? We already know what that experience is like, and you know whether it's small market or large market, man, I just think they got a lot of things they need to work on with their game, other than trying to tinker with the All-Star game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
It's
really
a
didn't feel they should have had an All-Star game either.
yeah. They should have canceled that.
Yeah,
Canceled it like this.
I just think that was just overkill. I really didn't think they needed an All-Star game.
Yeah, yeah. Because you still have the accolade on your resume as an NBA player, being a All Star, but you don't have to play the game. It's the same with the Pro Bowl. Like the Pro Bowl is just. I used to love watching the Pro Bowl back in the day. Now I can't even remember the last time I watched the Pro Bowl beginning to end. I remember the last one I watched was when Adrian Peterson went for 100 yards in Hawaii in his rookie year. Hey, I had to watch him. And so that's probably the last time I watched a full Pro Bowl game. After that, once they moved it, I haven't watched it much since then. But yeah, same with the All-Star game. It's whatever, but they have some issues, deep issues that they're going to have to fix besides some cosmetic stuff. Because the average fan that spends the money, either you cater to what they want to see or the attention is going to divert to something else. And
you're right.
It is what it is. So, but yeah, man. So
they can't beat the NFL. That's the one thing I say about the NFL. The NFL could treat us any kind of way, and we still don't watch it.
Well, yeah, that right there. I think so. Because if as far as football, I mean, I might decry the entire NFL or whatever, but as soon as someone say the Jaguars are playing, I don't care if we're 0-17, 0-16. I'm watching the Jaguars play. I am. That's what I'm doing. But I'm a diehard. I'm a sports fanatic. That's what I do. But the average fair weather fan, they're like, what? I want 16 Jags. Click. They will click off of it. They're not gonna watch it. So it is what it is. But staying on topic of the NFL. Talk about Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Shout out to Sam Tim for bringing this up because I had forgot about it. But he said that he'd rather retire than to play for Andy Reid again. And Andy Reid has probably one of the best reputations as far as a head coach around the league. I don't think I've ever heard a player say anything bad about Andy Reid. Even T.O., for all his failings, really didn't go at Andy Reid like that. When you hear him talk about his time in Philly, he don't go at Andy Reid. Now, he goes at Donovan McNabb and a couple other guys, of course. But Andy Reid, I'm like, how can you dislike Andy Reid? But Andy Reid, being the type of guy he is, being class personified, what his response was? He said, hey, I enjoyed my time with him. I'm pulling for him, and that's how I roll. I wish him the best. And I expect nothing less from Andy Reid.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what's going on with Bell. I mean, it just go from problems with Pittsburgh, problems with the Jets, now problems with Kansas City. I don't know if he just thought, well, coming to Kansas City, he's just going to be this instant star like it was with the Steelers. I don't know. Yeah. But, when you travel around, it's your third team, and you definitely didn't have any type of production like you had with the Steelers. And I just think that, man, it comes to a point, man, stop being a distraction. Go back and try to be that player you was once before. Stop trashing teams and organizations and show your worth on the field, and then everything else will take care of itself as far as contracts and all that. But I just think that he's disgruntled for whatever, man. It's like the Antonio Brown syndrome or something, man. But he's just not happy no matter where he's at. There's always an issue. There's always a problem. They did this, that's it. I mean, it's almost to the point, man, you just have to tune that guy out, man, because it just ain't, to me, his career has went from elevated to downward spiral. And he may not be able to get it back, He may not be that player he was with the Steelers. And I think at some point, some guys who done tasted it and have enjoyed success and they can't reclaim that success, they just get bitter. And he might be on his he might be on the tail end of his career. He might be out of the league. But
that's it.
How can you be upset? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I'm like you. I have never heard anybody who had a problem with Andy Reid. Now they had problems with his children, his sons, and all that, but but I haven't heard any player have a problem with Andy Reid. He's like Papa. He's like a
yeah. He's that uncle. He's that uncle on the grill at the cookout, man. Like he's
yeah.
like
He's Uncle Pete, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he got the cigarette hanging from his lip like this. This is what he is.
Yeah.
You know?
The guy
I think you
cheeseburger after a Super Bowl, man. How can you not like a guy like that? I mean, come on.
Right. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly what I was gonna go into with my next point with Le'Veon. He's lost his fastball. Father Time takes everything. It leaves no prisoners, and his fastball is gone, and it's a problem for him. He hasn't had this happen to him before. He's always been a supreme athlete, and now that he's on the downside of his career after taking those hits in Pittsburgh, he took a lot of punishment in Pittsburgh, man. A lot of injuries, and so his career is coming to a close. So bitterness and being emotional about his situation. And instead of him looking at the situation and saying, hey, I'm the common denominator in all the issues that I've had everywhere I went.
Yeah.
So, yeah, instead of looking at it that way, it's everybody else. And it's been everybody else, But being emotional like that, you're going to get those tirades. You're going to get those outbursts. That's why with Jalen Ramsey, that's what with him being emotional from time to time, I said he's a great player, but just tamper down on emotions a little bit. Keep that on the field. I don't care how you blow up on the field, like him with the incident with Doug Marrone and, him touching him, grabbing him, all of that. I had no issue with that because, number one, Doug Marrone shouldn't have took his behind over there. That's just me. I'm a player's coach. And you saw how Jalen was. He went over there, and it seemed like he antagonized Jalen because the teammate that was sitting next to Jalen had an issue with whatever Doug said. Yeah. So, even with that said, keep it on the field.
Yeah.
Because, even Jalen said it. Once they were done, Doug and him, appreciate you, and it was over.
Yeah.
It was over. So, Bell, it's over, man. The time of the Chiefs is over. It's done. Maybe you get another shot, maybe not. But to crap on somebody like Andy Reid like that, nah, man, come on. And I know you got a fair shake in Kansas City. No one did you wrong, okay?
Yeah, but and another thing, just accept what your consequences is. Just like you said, if you're a backup, you're a backup, man. It may come to this point where you got to get starter minutes or starter reps and all that, man. Hey, I think from here on out, his role is going to be diminished no matter where he's at. And just, hey, Father Time hadn't lost.
Nope. Undefeated.
Yeah.
Undefeated. Yeah. So, yeah, man. It is what it is, man. But Le'Veon, get yourself together, man. Get yourself together. Yeah. So let's talk Cole Beasley. So I saw this one like right before I was getting my topics, and say he blasted the NFLPA over their recent COVID-19 agreement, and his issue is that he was like did we get a chance to vote on this? Which the answer is no. Players did get a chance to vote, which I don't know why he's clinging on to that because you had almost 1,000 players that didn't vote on the collective bargaining agreement, so it wouldn't have mattered if they was able to vote one way or the other. And so he said that, and this made sense to me. He said, I stay in the hotel. We still have meetings. We will all be together. Vaccinated players can go out the hotel and bring COVID back in where I am. So what does it matter if I stay in the hotel now? And he says, 100% immune with the vaccination? No. He said, everyone gives me the 98% of people who are vaccinated don't get COVID again. The odds of me getting in the NFL and playing for 10 years are lower than that, and I'm here. He said, the Players Association is a joke. Call it something different. It's not for the players. And he said, so what are we really talking about? I understand completely why the NFL is doing this. It gives them back the freedom to make the most money as possible again if everyone is vaccinated. But will anyone fight for the players or nah? I hadn't read that last part until just now. I get him. I get it. I get it. I don't. Cole Beasley saying it is like it's whatever. But let Patrick Mahomes do this. If Patrick Mahomes do this, stuff change. They scrambling behind the scenes because Cole Beasley said it. It's like, hey Cole, let me talk to you for a second, man. Hey, I understand how you feel, man, but you got to calm that down, okay? You got to calm that down. But if Patrick says it, if Brady says it, Lamar Jackson says it, if any of the top, especially QBs or your star players have an issue, stuff is going to change. Just like the NBA, when LeBron speaks, stuff changes.
Man, I gotta have a dissenting opinion on this. It's almost like the players. This is almost a situation like the parent versus the kid, the child.
Yeah, it is.
First of all, the NFL is not doing anything different than any other business, any other household, to be honest. If you got a household and there are going to be some in the house that agree that the vaccination is the best thing since sliced bread and a ham sandwich, and there are going to be others that's going to say, I don't trust it. But in order for the NFL to conduct their business as a football league, the same with the NBA and the same with hockey, that they got the protocols, And one thing I disagree with Beasley on is this: last year, did they vote when they had protocols last year? They were put in for safety. They wasn't put in because they might be unfair. Imagine going on a road trip, and this happened. You go on a road trip, and once you get on the plane and get off the plane in the city that you playing in, and you travel Saturday, you stuck in your room. You couldn't go out your room. You couldn't even use the pool, the whirlpool, the weight room. You couldn't do anything. You had to order room service to get your meals. And who want to live like that? I mean, it's almost to a point like hey, if I don't have to wear a mask, if I'm an NFL player and I want things to be like I want to be a football player where I'm used to being a football player. Like, I don't want to go to New York and I got to look out my room that look at Times Square and I can't go visit it. Or I can't go to that steakhouse on in Manhattan because of COVID protocols. And I think you have to go in a situation like this. You have to go with what the majority is. Because there's never going to be anything where you get 100%. Everybody agree. In this country right now, there's people that is never going to take that shot, no matter what. You can put them on CNN. You can say this. You can do that. It's this. You might catch this. That they're not going to change their opinion about. They're not going to get that shot. And the NFL have to come to aware that if we got 65% of our players have taken the shot, we good. We're not worried about that 20% who didn't. Now the 20%. If you refuses to take the shot, then this is the consequences. You gotta wear a mask. You can't come into the facility and be around your players, or you can't travel and not be stuck in your room. If you out on the town or you at a party, you can get fined $15,000. But what I have an issue with, all the leagues are issuing the same verdict. They're doing the same rule, all the leagues. It's not like the NFL is taking it out on Buffalo or the Players Association doesn't have any power or any of that. And it's the choice. If an NFL player don't want to take the vaccination, then they gotta suffer that consequence of what what that means. That decision means that you can't have the same privileges as somebody that's vaccinated. Is it fair? No, it's not fair, but it is what it is. It's not. They're gonna force you basically to take that shot,
Pretty much. Pretty much.
and that's
Pretty
what it
much,
is.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's like that in if I work at the bank or somewhere like that, I think eventually that's what they're gonna make people do. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, if it's fair, no, it's not fair,
Right.
but it's
Right.
reality. That's the
There it
reality we
is.
live in,
There it
and it's
is.
not changing.
Right. That's the long and the short of it right there. And even though I agree with some of the things he said, if I'm Cole Beasley, after I get those tweets off, I weigh my options. And of course, I'm sure NFL officials want to talk to him, his organization wants to talk to him. And they tell me exactly what you said. All right, go ahead. Let me roll my sleeve up. Go ahead, give me that shot. Like, I mean, because what are you going to do? Are you going to sit in your hotel room the whole time? No, you got too much money. You want to go out and throw money. So, I mean, you're going to have to do it. Like you said, they're going to force you to do it. And I knew that from the beginning. When they floated the idea of the vaccine, I already knew that at a certain point, it's going to be voluntary, mandatory, meaning you don't have to get it. But if you want to do XYZ, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it's going to be, and I know that's what it is. That's like for me, when it stands between when it's something I want to do, and they say, "Hey, Brandon, you don't have the vaccine. You got to get the vaccine if you want to do this," and especially to help me with stuff like this, what I'm doing now. Hey, there you go. Go ahead. Yeah. I get to debate Shannon Sharp today. All right, go ahead and jab me up. Go ahead, jab me up. Give me double jab. Matter of fact, give me the 2-shot. Go ahead and do that for your boy, so I can do what I need to do. So with Cole Beasley, it's what it is.
Yeah, that's just like me, man. The Florida Times-Picayune didn't say, "Well, John, you got to take that shot." But the Jaguars said that if you want to watch practice and you don't want to be standing at 96-degree temperatures, then hey, they didn't even say advise you. They just say we want all the people who's fully vaccinated. If you want to have some of the privilege that you've been, like accustomed to, of having, then send us a picture of that vaccination card.
Right. Hey, Miss Julia say it's like that with teachers as well. And man, y'all got a tall task, Miss Julia, Miss teachers, dealing with that, man. I'm telling you, if I was a teacher before and I got to go back into the classroom, even with the vaccination, man, I know some teachers didn't go back. I know some teachers did not go back, and they pretty much changed fields and did something else because it's a tall task with teachers, man. Because especially depending on the age, you got to be hands on. You have to be.
Yeah. But
So,
our world, man. I hope we can get back. I hope we can get back to the world
some normalcy.
In 2019. But look here, we in June. What it is? June the 17th,
2021.
June the 21st. I'm hearing about variants and hey, Chris Paul took a shot and still got the virus, and it's just the protocol this and protocol that. We don't even know right now if we can travel to Seattle. Can we go in the locker room? Which if you can't go in the locker room, it don't even make sense traveling from Jacksonville to Seattle to go see a football game, and you can't have locker room access. But it's just, man, hey, look, I'm tired of the coronavirus. I'm tired of it. I mean, I took the 2 shots, and I still feel like I got chains on my hands. It's like I can't escape this mess. I can't escape it. That's what it feels like, and it's just like everywhere you're around, it's the same. It's like, man, it's just, I don't know. I'm tired of the pandemic, man. I'm sick of it, to be honest.
No, and I feel, and that's frustration also from Cole Beasley as well. He's not the only one. It's a lot of players feel exactly the way he feels. Even ones who are vaccinated, I'm sure, feels the way that he feels. They want to get back to some type of normalcy. They hate the restrictions because, hey, what is this fame and wealth if I'm not able to do what I want to do with it? So when I'm just sitting in the house rich, no, I want to get out there and ball out, man.
Yeah, my.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, you back.
Full internet.
Yeah. Oh no, you good. But yeah, man. So well, that's a good way to segue into our next topic. And our last topic, Jaguars football. Talking about this week and what's been going on. Hearing that Trevor Lawrence said he is a good grasp on the offense, but the highlight of this week is Brian Schottenheimer and what he said, and it's so funny to me.
Still laughing.
Yeah, it's hilarious what he said. We know, I told you, anybody who's been watching me knows quarterback competitions in the NFL, college, somewhat college, high school, yes, real, but in the NFL, quarterback competitions are not real. It's not a real competition because they already have their guy. So for them saying that there's no clear-cut starter right now, come on, man. Come on, man. What was your first thoughts when you heard that?
I was laughing. I hope they didn't hear me. I hope I was muted, but come on, man. That's almost like Allen Iverson talking about practice. Practice.
I mean,
not
a game.
Man, we done saw what we seen. We didn't see a whole lot of practices, but believe me, I know Garner Minshew got some fans in Jacksonville. Garner Minshew, C.J. Beathard, and Jake Luton, they don't have the talent that this kid have, And most of the time, even though he was limited, Lawrence was limited, he was still getting the first team snap. So, I mean, Urban Meyer didn't come to Jacksonville to take the Jaguars' job to have Trevor Lawrence being a backup. And even if the Jaguars coming off a 1-15 season, and they got the number 1 overall pick playing the number 2 quarterback going into Houston. Hey, you heard jokes before about the Jaguars. Imagine what them jokes are going to be if he's the number 2 quarterback behind Garner Minshew as the number overall pick. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if the only way Lawrence doesn't play is if he's injured. That's the only way. Exactly. That's the only way. And let's say that scenario happens. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say that scenario happens. He's the number 2 quarterback, fully healthy, going into the Houston game. Gardner Minshew is the starter. And then the average fan, you're like, well, do you trust Urban Meyer and the Jaguars' decision making? And saying that maybe he's not ready, Trevor Lawrence isn't ready. And that's not necessarily, might not be an indictment on Trevor not being ready. But as a head coach, as Urban Meyer being the head coach, he's not necessarily tied to Trevor Lawrence. He's tied to whoever gives them the best chance to win. That's what his objective is, game in and game out. So if it's Trevor Lawrence, if it's C.J. Beathard, if it's Jake Luton, if it's Tim Tebow at Wildcat quarterback for a game, if that give us the best chance to win, Urban Meyer is going to do so. But let's stop the games because Trevor Lawrence gives us the best chance to win. And it's having him sit. The only way he sits is if we have a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady in front of him. That's the only way. Not Gardner Minshew. No disrespect to him. Not Jake Luton. Not C.J. Beathard. Go ahead. Baptism by fire. Throw him in there. Peyton Manning said the best thing for his career was them starting him right away. Go ahead and start this kid right away.
And I say this about the Jaguars, our hometown team. You can't rewrite the book, man. Now, and please, I hope the Jaguars don't try to rewrite the book. Don't overcoach. Don't overthink. Do the right thing to try to get wins. Yeah. And do the same thing the coach did or anybody else with a number 1 overall pick. The only way he's going to learn by playing. He ain't going to learn by having charting plays or none of that. And I can understand, coaches are always going to be coaches. Coaches are always going to feel the world is listening to what they're saying. And they feel that all 4 of the quarterbacks were in on the Zoom call and they don't want to discourage any of the 4. But come on, man. I watched those guys practice. And Garner Minshew, Jake Luton, and Beathard can't do what this kid can do. That's the bottom line. And they would lose that locker room from what they've seen so far in what Trevor can bring to that team. And to say that he's not the best quarterback on the field would be an insult. And it's almost an insult for them to even say that. And for Schottenheimer to even say that is not good. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a lot of things can be said for a in the minicamp press conference and things like that. But one thing you have to, I think the thing the Jaguars got to remember, you always want your message to be the same. You know, you can't have Daryl Bevell saying one thing the day before and then come back with the passing game and the quarterback's coach saying a whole different thing, you know, because Bevell said this kid is grasping the playbook. He's coming in early. He's working around the clock. And he's on schedule with everything they got 96% of the playbook in. And Trevor Lawrence has grasped like all of it. So you have to make sure your message, if you don't want ESPN or somebody saying that Urban Meyer man, you know, from the perception of national media saying that it looks like he's over his head, then you got to make sure your message from your assistants down to your players is all coordinating.
Yeah.
Because when that message is conflicting, which I think has happened with the Jaguars over the years, when you don't want to give out mixed signals, because those mixed signals can come back to Lawrence. And you don't know what kind of confidence. I mean, I'm sure he's confident. He's 34-2 as a Clemson quarterback.
Yeah.
But you don't want to in any miscrewness or any of that thing going on that jeopardize, bother his confidence when you're going to need him to win football games. So they got to get that message. You don't have a franchise quarterback sitting on the bench, and you don't have billboard signs telling your Jaguar fans to come to the game. It's a new beginning, and here's Trevor that comes on the radio, 1010 or whatever, and then you got an assistant coach saying, we don't have a starter right now.
So, and this is my thing. So I think that this by Brian Schottenheimer is something that was coordinated. So I think that he's in lockstep with Urban and the rest of the coaching staff in saying what they said. And I just seen right when we were talking about this, I got a notification from the NFL mobile app. And so they said, what did Schottenheimer really mean? So Jim Trotter, who's very good, he's a very good reporter. I love reading his stuff and watching him when he does do video. He does do it often, but he's really good when he does it. So translation, Jim Trotter said, translation, Lawrence will be our starter, but we don't have to announce it now, so we won't. You don't draft Lawrence first overall, build marketing campaigns around him, sell his presence as hope as better days after a 1-15 season, only to have him sit on the bench behind Gardner Minshew, C.J. Beathard, Jake Luton, or Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, oh man.
That's it. That's it. That's all this is that them trying to make it seem, but it's being politically correct. Like, oh yeah, we got a real competition. Trevor's going to earn his keep around here. Yeah. Dude, but soon as they put on the pads, he put on the helmet, they put the shells on, and they put the jersey on and the shorts, and he put his helmet on, and he threw his first pass. That's the starter. That's the starter right away. But I get why they did it, but they didn't have to do it. So,
but this kid don't need no motivation, man.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
They gotta get all the semantics. See, that's the stuff that Doug Barone would have done, and you know, just I mean they. And I don't. To be honest, if I think that if Urban Meyer was asked that question, like, is Trevor going in as your starter? I think we would have got a different answer.
Think so?
Yeah. I think he might have been diplomatic about it, but he would have probably said something about from what we see so far, you know, real diplomatic. But I think he's on track. He's shown that, you know, we impressed with what we've seen so far, and obviously we got to go to training camp, and we'll see. We got to see more from him, with the pads on and those kind of things. But he's on track. I guarantee you, he would have said something like that.
Yeah. Probably so. That sounds like an Urban Meyer answer. Giving you a little coach speak. But yeah. So yeah, it's whatever, man. But so far, outside of our supposed quarterback competition, how has everybody else looked from the running backs to the receivers? I did hear praise about Walker Little. Well, his position, I think, was it Warhawk, said that he's one of the most prepared rookies he's ever been around, and they said his what stands out is his flexibility.
Yeah, he got quick feet, and he's you can't really see a whole lot, but you can see through the drills, his bend and just his footwork, stepping back, getting into pass protection and those kind of things. And he's huge. I mean, he's six. He's listed 6'7". Mm-hmm. He looks taller than Cam, so he's 6'7", 6'8", somewhere around there, and he's 325. And I'll say this, man. Hey, competition is going to bring the best of everybody on that team, and I can guarantee you, it's going to be a lot of competition. And it's a good thing. A lot of people would, Jawan Taylor got to be pushed the same way Cam Robinson has to be pushed, because they got to get. I mean, the two question marks, in my opinion, the two biggest question marks is those two tackle spots. But and I said this on your show earlier, Urban Meyer is not going to sit around and go 3-4 games and just say, okay, maybe Cam can work it out this week, or Jawan can work it out next week. If it doesn't work out, like if either one of those guys have a bad game, which they've had some bad games last season, they ain't gonna start, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I'll tell you something else, Brandon. Urban Meyer said 2 weeks ago, no, this is not about winning and losing. This is just we trying to get the installs in, and we're trying to get offense, defense, and get just getting everybody on the same page. As soon as he says that this week, man, we standing out there, and these guys got a bona fide kickoff competition going on with you would think that Josh Lambo would have 90. I think he's 95% on his kicks. I think he's missed like 4 kicks since he's been on the Jaguars since 2017.
Yeah, and I don't think he only missed a few at home. I don't think he missed many at home.
Yeah, and he is not guaranteed. He's got to earn a roster spot. And we asked Urban and said, well, you said like winning and losing, doesn't, it don't take effect right now. Well, and then he said, well, competition brings the best of everybody, and in that position, we want to see who is the best kicker we got to help us win games. So it's on for the kickers, but I guarantee you, when all those cats get back for training camp, it's going to be just like that kickoff. And man, this kickoff was like, okay, put the ball at the 35, put it on the right hand to the mark, and have Eldridge Rosas and Lambo kick, and one after another. Lambo kicked, then the next, the Rosas come and kick, and they went on, and for the whole 2 days of that mini camp, it was a kickoff.
Competition.
And Lambo right now is the number 2 kicker. So
wow. Yeah. So I mean, it's a new day. It's a new day, man. It's a new day. Holding guys accountable it seems like what Urban is going to do here, because he's here to win. He hear the criticisms. The Chris Doyle hire put a stain on it a little bit, but they've moved past it, and winning cures all. It's the best deodorant. So you'll be able to, as long as you win, you'll be able to get past that. But he knows what's ahead of him, and he's going to make sure he has the best tools to go out and win game in and game out, because he's a winner. He's always been a winner. You cannot question that about the man. He's a winner.
Yeah. And you know what? Another thing is he has no loyalty to anybody who's on that football team. I mean, he
Yep.
does have loyalty to the guys he drafted. He has some loyalty to the free agents they brought in. But any of those
Everybody
guys
else.
is they gotta earn their right. There's no okay, man. And I say this about James Robinson. James Robinson physically looks great. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean he's put on some pounds. He's got the little bit we saw out on the field. He's quick. He's elusive. Everything. He looks like he's ready for this challenge. He knows he has a challenge because
Yeah.
James got to work. I mean, he's not one of these guys that was gifted with this natural talent. He's got to work to get. He's probably done had to work to get everything that he's gotten up to this point. When you look at Travis Etienne, it's natural, man.
Yeah.
He got God gifted born talent, you know,
Yeah.
and he's faster.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited to see how that competition going to come out because James Robinson is not going to fold because he, like I just said, he doesn't had to fight for everything. You know, Illinois State and undrafted rookie, and he is not going to bow down because Travis Etienne is in here as a first round pick and all that. He's going to fight to keep his job. And there's some guys on that football team from last season. They're going to fight to keep their jobs and competition. I don't think they had enough competition at key skills positions last year. This year, that wide receiver group is going. Man, that's going to be like a fight every day in practice.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is. So the DB group is going to be interesting because Andre Cisco. Depending on his recovery, he's coming. Tyson Campbell is coming. So Trae Herndon is on the bubble right now. Even Henderson is on the bubble. There's no guarantee Henderson's going to start. You know, so I mean, who knows, man? And then Josh Jones, Jared Wilson. So that DB group has a lot of competition. The linebackers, shoot, was it Damian Wilson?
Yeah.
They brought in Damian Wilson, and then they got my guy from Alabama as an undrafted free agent. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Oh my God, it escapes me right now.
Moses.
Oh, Dylan Moses.
Dylan Moses.
Yeah. I think he's immensely talented. He just injuries, man. But and I seen where Saban was like he felt like he should at least win the late rounds and not win undrafted. Yeah. So
well, one good thing about him, he was working with the position group during mini camp. So he wasn't off on the side of the field. He was off on the side field getting, rehab work for most of the OTAs. But in mini camp, he was working with the linebacker, so that's a good sign. But that kid he looks the part. He looks like a linebacker that can, hit you, tackle, whatever it might need to be. But I definitely some things that's noticeable. They definitely have improved their overall speed on defense, particularly in the secondary. And I mean, getting to the ball on reaction to the ball. Rayshawn Jenkins is just, I think he's a ball hawk, man. I think whenever the ball is around, he's around. And I like the way Shaq Griffin, just his coverage skills. I mean, he's like a low-key Jalen Ramsey. Like, he's not a guy that, he's not talkative like Jalen. But there's some battles that was out there where you can just see where he can jump. He's smart. He can jump the route, force the receiver to, trying to change his route. He's always around.
Great speed. I think he's faster than Jalen.
Yeah, and it's just, man, you can see that immediately. You don't need to see he doesn't have to have pass to see that. And then he's always going up against like Marvin Jones and DJ Chark. So
he's scrappy. Man. I saw that in Seattle.
He's gonna make that group better, and he's gonna make those receivers better. And I still don't know what they got in Mr. Taven Bryant.
Oh man, you had to bring him up. We an hour 15 in, Mr. Reid, and you had to bring up
Hey,
Taven Bryant.
I gotta bring it up, man. This guy, hey,
Oh God.
you know, I'm not a Caldwell man. You know, Dave Caldwell made some mistakes.
Yeah, he did.
And we talked about this earlier today, man. It's like, hey, if I was on the roster since 2018 and my defensive line coach told me publicly that, oh, we don't want to give him too much. You know, we don't want to have him playing all these multiple positions. You know, we just want him to have his mind focused on playing the edge on defensive end, playing as a defensive end. And I'm saying to myself, good Lord, man, this man has been in the league for 4 years, and they like, hey, we can't give him too much. That might take him that might slow his progress.
Yeah. Right.
You know, one thing about me, I call a spade as a spade, man. And if a guy can't play football and be instinctive, he shouldn't be on the field. And I still see the same mistakes, even with shorts and helmets. His instinctiveness, he can't get to the ball carrier even without pads on. He will still fight through a block instead of going after the ball carrier. No spin moves, no hand moves, just bull rush moves, even without pads on. So what makes you think that he's going to change when the pads come on? It's not.
No.
I mean, come on, man. No. The good thing is Urban Meyer don't have no attachment to Taven Bryant. And I don't like to rip the guy, but come on, man. I done seen enough. That narrative is not going to change.
Yeah. Hey, I always have issue because he cost us. I won't say necessarily he cost us, but Lamar Jackson should have been a Jaguar, not Taven Bryant.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it is, man. And hey, if Lamar Jackson's quarterback, we're in a much better position we are today.
Yep.
You know, even though we do have Trevor Lawrence and brighter days are ahead, man. But
you wouldn't have had the 2018 season. You wouldn't have had the 2019 season. You wouldn't have had
the 2020 season. You wouldn't have had these 3 years of absolute. Yeah, man. So, man, it is what it is, man. But we gonna end it right there because Taven Bryant just turned my stomach.
Sorry, man, but you know we have to call it like we see it, man.
Straight up and down. Straight up and down. Got to call it how you see it, man. Got to call it how you see it, man. But I appreciate you for coming on today. Any final thoughts before we get off here?
Just, you know, man, hey, these guys is over till July 27th. And, you know, we'll be talking about Tim Tebow and Trevor Lawrence and all that. But, man, I think this might be one of the most exciting talked about Jaguar seasons from Jacksonville to California, man. You know, there's just a lot of interest nationally about this team. And who knows, you know, I mean, I'm not forecasting that they're going to make the playoffs or none of that, but there's a lot of changes going on with that franchise, man. Even they're giving more to the community. They're reaching out more to the Black community. And, you know, I don't know, for your audience, man, you ought to go on that Duval Twitter page, and man, Marvin Jones sung the Black Metal, man. I say, boy, that guy can sing, man. You know?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't listened to it all, but I did hear a little bit of it. Yeah, he can sing. Yeah, he can sing, man. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey, thanks for watching. Hey, like, share, and subscribe. You see all my information down at the bottom. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on all my social media. Follow Mr. Reid on Twitter. You know, and at Florida Times Union, Jacksonville.com. Writing for the Florida Times Union. Check us out. And man, we'll be back next week with another show. More topics coming. Because it's going to be an interesting NBA playoffs the rest of the way. because the injuries are not over. Just so people know, the injuries are not over. So the NBA is going to be very interesting down the stretch. And if they get, let's say like they get a matchup like Atlanta versus Utah, I'm sure that this is going to be the least watched NBA Finals in like 30 years or something like that, man. And it shouldn't be, but it will. It will be.
You don't have New York or LA or none of those big market teams, so
yeah. Say we'll do, little cuz. Appreciate that, Julia. But hey, we out of here. Peace, people.
We bought Harborview.